Good morning. On behalf of our host for today's event, General Daryl A. Williams, the Commander of the United States Army Europe and Africa, welcome to the United States Army Southern European Task Force Africa Change of Command Ceremony. This morning, Major General Todd R. Wasmund relinquishes command of the United States Army Southern European Task Force Africa to Major General Andrew C. Gainey. Among our distinguished guests in attendance today are General Michael E. Langley from the United States Africa Command, Command Sergeant Major Jeremiah Inman from the United States Army Europe and Africa Command, Major General Brian Cashman from Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa, Major General Diane Del Rosso from the 79th Theater Sustainment Command, Mr. Salvatore Cacamo, the Prefect of Vicenza, Mr. Dario Salustio, Vicenza Chief of Police, Dr. Lino Bruno, the Vicenza Chief Prosecutor, Mr. Giacomo Posemai, the Mayor of Vicenza, Major General Liberato Almadio, the Chief of Staff of Comfort Nord, Major General Francesco Ola, the G5 Italian Army, Major General Michele Rizzi, representing the Alpini Troops Command. We would also like to welcome all commanders, command senior enlisted leaders, and other distinguished guests to today's ceremony. The commander of troops for today's ceremony is Colonel Chad A. Froelich, the SETAF-Africa Chief of Staff, and the color guard is led by Command Sergeant Major Reese Tickle, the SETAF-Africa Command Sergeant Major. Providing the music today is the Italian band Fanfara della Brigata Alpini Giulia, under the command of Sergeant Major Flavio Mercurillo. The formation of soldiers in color standing proudly before us represents units of the Southern European Task Force Africa and the Vicenza military community. The salute battery is led by Staff Sergeant Sergio Campos from the 4th Battalion, 319th Airborne Field Artillery Regiment, 173rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team Airborne. The Italian band Fanfara della Brigata Alpini Giulia is commanded by Sergeant Major Fabio Mercurillo. The 173rd Infantry Brigade Combat Team Airborne, commanded by Colonel Joshua Gaspard and Command Sergeant Major Frank Batts. The 1st of the 503rd Infantry Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Branch and Command Sergeant Major Brian O'Neill. The 2nd of the 503rd Infantry Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Ward and Command Sergeant Major Sean Clark. The 1st of the 91st Cavalry Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel John Staley and Command Sergeant Major Rudy Alvarado. The 4th Battalion of the 319th Airborne Field Artillery Regiment, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Neil Stark and Command Sergeant Major Brian Valentine. The 54th Brigade Engineering Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Travis Toole and 1st Sergeant Robert Beauchamp. The 173rd Infantry Brigade Support Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Ryan Hulse and 1st Sergeant Mark Hamilton. The 207th Military Intelligence Brigade Theater, commanded by Colonel Stephen Scales and Command Sergeant Major Daryl McNeil. The 307th Military Intelligence Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel John Wilt and Command Sergeant Major Aaron Schrapp. The 522nd Military Intelligence Battalion Operations, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Richard Smith and Command Sergeant Major Carolyn Urigas. The 414th Contracting Support Brigade, commanded by Colonel Isaac Torres and Sergeant First Class Justino Serla. The United States Army Garrison Italy, commanded by Colonel Scott Horrigan and commanded by Sergeant Major Ricardo Moreno. Headquarters and Headquarters Battalion, United States Army Southern European Task Force Africa, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Christiana and Command Sergeant Major Damian Volmer. The 509th Signal Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel J. Marquis and Command Sergeant Major Juan Guevara. The 3rd Squadron, 2nd Security Forces Assistance Brigade, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Messenger and Master Sergeant Mark Riles. The Civil Affairs Battalion, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Dwight Casellas and Command Sergeant Major Deborah Peterson. Bugle calls have a marked place in military history. They have been used for hundreds of years in armies throughout the world to signal, alert, and inform soldiers of units. Bugle calls will be used in today's change of command ceremony in place of verbal commands. Let me direct your attention to the line of troops and to the left side of the field where the adjutant will prepare the soldiers for review.
Attention! call!
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of honors. Today, General Williams has deferred honors to Major General Wasmund in recognition of his successful time as the commander of the Southern European Task Force Africa. Honors will be presented by the 4th Battalion, 319th Airborne Field Artillery Regiment, and the Italian Band. At this time, Staff Sergeant Sergio Campos of the 4th Battalion, 319th Airborne Field Artillery Regiment, Salute Battery, presents Major General Todd Wasmund the shell from the last round as a memento of the change of command ceremony.
Il sergente maggiore Sergio Campos, del 4 Battaglione 319 Reggimento di Artiglieria, presenta al generale Todd Wasmund il bossolo di artiglieria dell'ultimo colpo di cannone, a perenne ricordo di questa cerimonia.
Please remain standing for the invocation led by Chaplain Alwyn Albano.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we pray for this day, we thank you for this day, and we pray for the men and women of Southern European Task Force Africa and the Vicenza military community. Unite them as one in a spirit of service and camaraderie. As we pass the colors of this historic change of command ceremony, we especially lift up in prayer our outgoing and incoming commanders. Bless our outgoing commander, Major General Todd Wasmund, and his wife, Tracy. We thank you for Major General Wasmund's great leadership and untiring effort to promote a climate of trust and empowerment in our organization. The great time of selfless service of Major General Wasmund and Tracy in SETAF-AF and our community in Italy is ending, and they're concluding over 30 years of fruitful service in the Army. We thank you for their efforts in making our organization what it is today, in enriching our lives and the significant impact they've had in the Army. As they've given themselves for us, now we pray that the years to come might continue to bring them satisfaction and well-being. Go with them as they head out, and let their new place of service be a blessing to them in every way. Today, we also lift to you our new leader, Major General Andrew Gainey, as he assumes command of this great organization. Endow him with wisdom and every grace of leadership he will need. Watch over him and his loved ones through all the times of trial. We pray also for Major Gainey's wife, Sophie, and their children, Francis and Chanel. As they start their new adventure in Vicenza, give them all the strength to weather the challenges of their transition and a cheerful spirit to enjoy all of life in our community. We implore your blessings on all soldiers of the men and women serving in and supporting SETAF-AF. Sustain them in their good work. Grant success in every good endeavor, that they can accomplish every mission. Encourage them and grant them safety in every peril. Help us to turn our hearts towards you each day, and may every member of this organization find meaning and satisfaction in the important work they are doing in behalf of their nation and their allies. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
The reviewing party for today's ceremony is comprised of the host, the outgoing commander, and the incoming commander. The reviewing party and the commander of troops will conduct an inspection of trooping the line. In days past, trooping the line enabled the soldiers to physically identify their leader and allowed the commander to personally observe and evaluate their soldiers and equipment to judge for themselves the capability to successfully engage in battle. On October 25th of 1955, the United States Army activated the United States Army Southern European Task Force in Italy to protect NATO's southern flank. Major General John Michaelis established the headquarters in Verona with 10,000 assigned troops. In 1959, Italian Army personnel began augmenting SETAF headquarters to assist with unique binational responsibilities. SETAF's headquarters moved again in 1965 to Caserma Ederle in Vicenza. SETAF's mission and geographical area of responsibility increased in 1972 when the command was assigned units in Greece and Turkey. In 1973, SETAF was assigned the 1st Airborne Unit, the 1st Battalion, 509th Infantry Airborne Battalion Combat Team. In 1991, SETAF's 3rd Battalion Airborne, 325th Infantry Regiment, deployed to northern Iraq during Operation Provide Comfort. In 1994, SETAF, as a Joint Task Force Support Hope, deployed to Entebbe to help prevent a humanitarian crisis resulting from the civil war in Rwanda. On March 26, 2003, during Operation Iraqi Freedom, SETAF's 173rd Airborne Brigade conducted a parachute assault into northern Iraq. About 1,000 paratroopers jumped into Brasher Airfield as a part of Operation Northern Delay. Later in 2003, SETAF led the U.S. military mission in Liberia to help prevent an impending humanitarian disaster. In 2005, both SETAF and the 173rd Airborne Brigade deployed to Afghanistan as Combined Joint Task Force 76. In December 2008, SETAF officially assumed duties as the Army Component Headquarters for U.S. Africa Command as the U.S. Army Africa USARAF. USARAF would strengthen the land force capabilities of African states and regional organizations and support U.S. Africa Command's operations. In 2011, SETAF was a lead element for Joint Task Force Odyssey Dawn as a part of a coalition of more than a dozen nations. Joint Task Force Odyssey Dawn helped enforce United Nations Security Council resolutions to help protect civilians in Libya. In January of 2012, SETAF was officially redesignated USARAF-SETAF, connecting USARAF-SETAF to 9th U.S. Army's lineage. In 2013, USARAF led the DoD response to Ebola virus sweeping through Liberia, Ghana, and Sierra Leone as a part of Joint Force Command United Assistance. In November of 2020, USARAF-SETAF consolidated with the U.S. Army Europe to form the United States Army Europe and Africa, USAREUR-AF, as the headquarters in Vicenza was redesignated as the U.S. Army Southern European Task Force Africa, SETAF-Africa. SETAF-Africa provides the U.S. Africa Command and the United States Army Europe and Africa a dedicated headquarters to synchronize Army activities across Europe and Africa and scalable crisis response options in Africa and Europe, and acts as the senior responsible command for all U.S. Army personnel and units in Italy. The command is an operationally focused headquarters with an expeditionary mindset, committed to excellence and trust in all we do. Since 2023, the command has been activated as Joint Task Force almost continuously to provide support to the Department of State in evacuating U.S. citizens from Sudan, deploying to secure and reposition U.S. assets in Niger following a military coup, and deploying to ensure the safety of U.S. citizens abroad following the October 7, 2023 attacks in Israel. The commander of troops is retrieving the national colors of Italy and the United States of America. He will march them forward to render honors to both nations. For more than 2 centuries, the Stars and Stripes have been the banner under which Americans have lived, fought, and died. More than a symbol, the flag is an embodiment of our government, people, ideas, values. All military units serving in this host country display the national flag of Italy next to the Stars and Stripes. Together, the 2 flags show the commitment and partnership of these 2 nations. Thus, as these flags are presented to the reviewing officer, respect is paid to both nations.
Sound, present, arm.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing and playing of the national anthems of Italy and the United States of America. The Italian anthem will be sang by Signore Alessandro Lora, the American anthem sang by Captain Michelle Manning.
Fratelli d'Italia, l'Italia se desta dell'elmo di Scipio, se cinga la testa, dove la vittoria le porga la chioma che schiava di Roma, Iddio la creò. Fratelli d'Italia, l'Italia se desta dell'elmo di Scipio, se cinta alla testa, dov'è la vittoria le porga la chioma che schiava di Roma, Iddio la creò. Stringiamoci a corte, siamo pronti alla morte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia chiamò. Stringiamoci a corte, siamo pronti alla morte, siamo pronti alla morte, l'Italia chiamò, sì.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were still gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Sergeant Jacqueline Sanders is presenting Miss Tracy Wasmund with a bouquet of red roses, signifying the bonds of appreciation and respect for her dedicated service. Sergeant Narcisse Bizimana is presenting a bouquet of yellow roses to Miss Sophia Gainey, representing friendship and a warm welcome to SETAF Africa and the Vicenza military community. Sergeant Bizimana is also presenting a bouquet of flowers to Major General Gainey's daughters, Mrs. Princess and Chanel Gainey. A single yellow rose will be presented to Major General Gainey's mother-in-law, Ms. Gladys Kelly, sister-in-law, Miss Ladise Gainey, and aunt, Belinda Hall. The change of command ceremony is a military tradition that is rich with symbolism and heritage dating back to medieval times. Soldiers often carried staffs or standards in a battle that identified them as a unit. Throughout military history, unit colors have marked the position of the commander on the battlefield and served as a rallying point. While attacking or rallying on the battlefield, soldiers would follow the standard or guidons of their leader, most often found at the forward edge of battle. Command Sergeant Major Teagle, the Command Sergeant Major of the United States Army Southern European Task Force Africa, represents the backbone of the unit. Command Sergeant Major Teagle hands the SETAF-Africa colors to the outgoing commander, Major General Wasmund. Major General Wasmund then passes the SETAF-Africa colors to General Williams, the Commanding General of the United States Army Europe and Africa, signifying the return of the responsibility in which he was entrusted upon assuming command. General Williams then passes the SETAF-Africa colors to Major General Gainey, thus demonstrating his confidence in the commander's ability to handle the responsibility of command and maintain a disciplined unit trained in the basics of soldiering. Major General Gainey returns the colors to Command Sergeant Major Teagle, which signifies the trust and confidence that he places in the non-commissioned officer corps. By authority of paragraph 2-5, Army Regulation 600-20, the undersigned assumes command of the United States Army Southern European Task Force Africa, effective 18 July 2024. Signed, Andrew C. Gainey, Major General Commanding. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commanding General of the United States Africa Command, General Michael E. Langley.
Commander troops, please bring your formation to attention and put them at ease or at rest. Thank you. General Williams, I did that because I don't know about the European continent, but there's a lot happening on the African continent. I got ready for that. General Williams, other general officers, admirals, senior enlisted leaders, thank you for this opportunity to address you today, because this is all about thank you. Tracy, thank you for the support. And Todd, and I'm sure we lean heavily on you each and every day as his command stood the challenges through the last 400 days of episodes that happened on the African continent. Fair wisdom following seas. I wish you safe travels in your next endeavor and hope you get to see your 8 grandchildren across the United States. I know it's you're going to be sitting down in northwest Arkansas. So you can be closer to you actually Oklahoma, though, right? And Todd, you'll be able to watch your Ohio State Buckeyes. I'm not going to say win the national championship because my Longhorns will be challenging you as well. Major General Gainey, congratulations. You're embarking on a big endeavor. As the leaders here in Bencheza, and to all the U.S. troops, it's great to be back with all of you here today. Great job in organizing this special event. Command Sergeant Major and Commander of Troops and all that went into planning this. Military customs and courtesies. This is what's so special that we do across all military organizations across the globe with our allies and partners. Now, Major General Todd Wasmund, I need to make note of a few things. I would just go ahead and say, it would be impossible to recount all the things that you did in the SETAF-AF team to support AFRICOM. But I'll do my best. Total recall, as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, 1 year ago. Actually, it was 15 April 2023. You and your team answered the call when our fellow Americans needed you the most. Burhan and Hamedi had struck up a civil war in the country of Sudan. Americans were in harm's way. And as the situation rapidly deteriorated across Sudan, you supported a flawless execution of 65 personnel from the embassy of Khartoum. You then answered the call once again, several months later, 26 July, coup d'etat happened in the country of Niger. And all that consequence, you stood up JTF Lion. You sit down with 1 star, General Brian Cashman. No, I'm not talking about the general manager of the Yankees. I'm talking about U.S. Army type. He was ready for the billing. That's what we needed. As our Secretary of Defense said, Langley, I want those troops you send down there to be on their toes. Because it's the same consequence and it can escalate real fast. You do a team to send in there because of your prior planning and the modeling and simulation that you did. Sending the right folks. Then on top of that, we all know what happened on 7 October 2023. 2023 was a year of crisis. And as the Israel and Hamas fight started, yet another tasking of General Williams to stand at the ready. SETAF-AF, answer the call. All this adds up to 400 days of strife and consequence. We ask for our most talented units across the Department of Defense to answer the call. Continuous operations as a joint task force. It's no small feat to support 2 combatant commands, and I did that. But when it came time, you answered the call. Well done, Todd. SETAF-AF's accomplishments go well beyond crisis. And I'd like to highlight a few. If you'll indulge me, we ran a large exercise across the African continent. So ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you something. To you, it may just seem like an exercise. African lion was one on the globe, and across the OG is one of the biggest. A few years ago, it wasn't that large. But what Todd did, he brought countries together. This is a miss, a time when they say that the United States government convening power or influence is waning on the continent of Africa because of a number of pressures of information, disinformation, misinformation by our competitors. But Todd said, you know what, I got something for them, something that's unmatched, our convening power, our influence. with our African partners, being able to come together and deepen our relationship for the purpose of stability and security. You did that. So I don't care what it says in the papers, because I get my information from the African leaders. They talk about the Security Force Assistance Brigades. They talk about the civil affairs groups. They talk about the medical readiness exercises you do with our African partners. That really matters. Just Africom Lane alone had over 8,000 participants and 18 allied partner nations. It marked the first time an African nation has self-deployed any strategic fires asset on the continent. Plain and simple. Our competitors can't match that. Todd, that was because of you and your team behind me. You convened one of the largest defense conferences on the African land forces as well. Convening power, positive influence. In Zambia, at the Ouse, we had over 240 participants, over 38 chiefs of defense or African land forces leaders. This event led to a nationally televised address by the Zambian president. It signaled that Africa matters when the U.S. comes together with our allies and with our African partners. Your attention, transforming this SETAF. Those operations, activities, and investments really matter in building the security element across the continent. Your efforts support funding that allow for a second SETAF to expand engagements from 13 countries to 31 in FY27. This is a critical way to achieve our campaign objectives. Russia can't do that. The PRC can't do that. Because you are visionary. You set the bar high. Those that sit behind me, or stand behind me, made it a reality. So you and SETAF-AF are my eyes and ears for land forces, for African partners. Without your efforts, your campaign, our overall African campaign for the Department of Defense wouldn't be possible. Your mission statement states that you will provide a dedicated headquarters to synchronize Army activities in Africa and a scalable crisis response. And you did two things at the same time, and even covered down on Europe and the consequences of what's going on in the Middle East. So actually, you satisfied 3 different geographical commanders. You should pat yourself on the back. You should shake every hand that stands behind me. You answered the call. Mission accomplished, God. I couldn't be more proud. You embrace the first principles of cultural trust and empowerment. You embrace culture and climate in the command. That's not easy. There's no FMF or doctrine that actually states how to do that. It takes a skill set. You and Tracy as a team came together to affect that. So Todd has been incredibly busy and productive the last 24 months. We are saddened with your departure, but we all know you have invested so much working side by side with our partners and bring the lasting security, stability, and prosperity to Africa. So thank you again. We wish you blue skies, following seas, and watch your shoulder soft rock sounds. Okay? So well-deserved leave and take time out. Everyone, please join me in an incredible soldier in the round of applause. Major General Andrew Gainey. So, you come to this command with an incredible wealth of experience. As you loved ones sit behind you. A lot of you don't know the story, history behind the Gainey, his family. 30 years ago, here's a man that had a dream, raising his family, love and care. Raise family members with first principles of togetherness. Father fought in the Vietnam War. And he set the stage. He set the stage for what it meant for leadership and responsibility and accountability. William J. Gainey, Sr. We have other family members here today that recognize that and continue to live that dream, whether in the corporate world like your oldest brother, William J. Gainey, Jr. He thought he was going to be in the NFL, and he should have been. But even after that, he had another dream. Carry on to be successful in the corporate world. And I know your brother as well, Sean. And I read back to sisters. Your family just hold that mantle and represented within your community. So welcome to the team. And I know that Sophie, you have Mama here, Miss Gladys. You two together make a team. Because Princess and Chanel, they're going to be very successful. They already embarked upon that. I know they moved a lot, but they're going to make you proud in the future. So welcome to the team. American dream of hard work and education. I know that's what your mother had passed on to you. There's times where she had turned out to be the matriarch of the family after your father passed. I read about her, Miss Lucy Hill. You are a product of that. Now that's what we're passing the mantle to you to lead such a fine organization. Fine organization. This command comes with an incredible wealth of experience of execution. But you two are very familiar with the challenges and opportunities serving what AFRICOM offers and what AFRICOM is going to passionately continue to do. You bring that from your previous command of the 56th Artillery Command. A lot of the special forces here enjoy being led by artillery officers, Zach. They put up with us. But Andy, I know you have some very big shoes to fill, but I'm confident you will continue SETAF-AF's legacy of excellence. Because I too am a believer. I say that because what Todd did is he instilled a culture. He had to go through 12 stars to get something across the goal line, unlike what the Buckeyes did last year. But when he came up to me and presented it, an idea, the Southern European Task Force Africa needs more than a badge. They need more. They needed a patch that was emblematic. He said, "Sir, drink this Kool-Aid, because I'm going to go to the chief of a, well, first I'm going to go to U.S. Army. You're out. To try to get a signature on the line. And then I'm going to go, I'm coming to you before I go to the chief of the Army." I said, "Okay." But then last night at dinner, you showed me a little something, a production, if you will. He turned to me and said, "Sir, do you believe?" I said, "You know what? I thought about it last night." You know, as a Marines at 8 to 9, there's one command that people just raise up and applaud when he asks you to do the formalities of fixing bayonets. Battalion, fix bayonets. So I guess you would be asking me last night, General Langley, affix your patch. So I'm going to bring it now. I'm affixing my patch. So Marines get it. Thank you very much. It's a special day. Todd, Randy. So in closing, there's truth behind us. They stand ready. I wanted to say thank you to all of them for the consequences that we endured in the last 400 days, whether it be Sudan, whether it be Niger. But stand ready for the next crisis. You have a new leader now. Andy, take the helm.
Our host for today's ceremony, the Commanding General of the United States Army, Europe and Africa, General Daryl A. Williams.
Prende ora la parola il comandante di United States Army Europe and Africa, Secretary of the Army, General Daryl A. Williams.
I told her I was going to mention her in my comments. So. Let's give Angela a round of applause. General Langley, distinguished members of the Italian government, esteemed leaders and guests from the local communities, allies, partners, colleagues, supporters, and the soldiers and families of the United States Army, Southern European Task Force Africa. Salute e buongiorno. Grazie for joining us for today's ceremony. Let's also give a round of applause to the Alpini Band. Alpini Band! The gunners over there, General Langley mentioned it, my boss mentioned it, but you have 4 senior artillerymen out here on, and we were grading your count there. You did a very good job. Let's give a round of applause for you. Andy, if you're not using them after this, I can take them and use them in another part of your theater here, pointing another direction. Changes of command and transitions are a constant for us in the military. Today we are marking the change of command and transition of leadership from Major General Todd Wasmund to Major General Gainey. Sergeant Major, as always, the troops look good. I'm glad the boss puts the soldiers at rest here. Let's give a round of applause again to all the soldiers on the field. The boss said the next 400 days, we'll see what it, but I know we'll be ready. So our Italian hosts, thank you for your hospitality. The U.S. Army Southern European Task Force, or SETAF, has had a long and storied association with our host nation starting in 1955. More importantly, SETAF-AF's relationship with the lovely city of Vicenza and Caserma Ederle will celebrate its 60th anniversary next year. I'm also deeply appreciative of the chance to return to this enchanting city of Vicenza. SETAF-AF has always played an important role in contingencies response with agile, light units at readiness, high readiness level. Whether it was the Allied Mobile Force land, disaster response, non-combatant evacuation operations in Europe and Africa, or humanitarian assistance in Africa and the Middle East, you've done it all well and continue to do it well. During Todd and Tracy's tenure has been no different. In fact, under Todd's leadership, as General Langley mentioned, SETAF-AF has spent more than 400 days in continuous support to contingency operations at the task force headquarters, supporting possible non-combatant evacuation operations for 2 different combatant commanders. I would tell you, I speak to the Army Chief of Staff every other week, and then it was General McConville, and he was always asking me about the resilience and strength of the soldiers in SETAF and their family members as well. And Todd, under your leadership, you ensured that they were always ready and ready for the combatant commanders. So thanks for that. But you also balance that reality of holding unit at a high readiness while rotating them for training to keep their warfighting skills fresh. Brilliant. With no degradation to the mission. As General Gainey mentioned, this alone is a full-time job and an accomplishment in itself. Todd, like many of us, wears multiple hats, and he balanced the contingency response role and his duties as the Deputy Commanding General for Africa in the United States Army Europe Africa with ease. Todd assumed command shortly after the consolidation of U.S. Army Africa with U.S. Army Europe, and he sought to operationalize SETAF-AF as an operational headquarters with an expeditionary mindset committed to excellence. He rewrote the campaign plan and launched several initiatives to empower subordinates, including the line's page. His We Are SETAF-AF branding takes up a lot of commercial space on AFN. But more importantly, it has built pride in high temp. I kid him about it all the time. In fact, I like it so much, we stole the PAO here. Where you at, wife? Are you in here somewhere? Move out. Get up the B spot. There he is. Give him a round of applause. He's doing a great job. I could for a minute. Colonel Langley often talks about the information campaign, and you heard him talk a little bit about that. And I would tell you that Colonel and his team single-handedly amplified and banged this mission into the hearts and minds of our potential enemies. I'm not the only one watching those commercials, believe me. And I know you all know what I'm talking about. His presence, Todd's presence on the continent has also been felt, whether through African Lion, or the largest and most impactful African Land Forces Summit in history. And I ran a few of those, I should know. The last one was phenomenal. Todd helped bring together representatives from 47 nations, including Land Forces commanders and heads of state, in support of AFRICOM and USARAF. He realigned how we use the Security Force Assistance Brigade, increasing the number of states we touched by more than 250%. That's contact time. Contact time matters. Todd, has been an honor to witness your exceptional leadership at the helm of this command for the past 2 years. Your dedication, your vision, and unwavering commitment has truly made a lasting impact. Under your guidance, this command has achieved remarkable successes and overcome significant challenges, standing stronger and more unified than ever before. Your insight and decisive actions have not only steered your command through turbulent waters, but have also propelled us toward greater heights of excellence. Your ability to inspire and empower those around you has fostered a culture of teamwork, innovation, and resilience that will continue to shape your our organization for years to come. I wish you and Tracy Adio Buona Fortuna. I hope you enjoy a well-deserved rest. Let's give him a round of applause. That wasn't very good. Let's give him a round of applause. Our children, none of us can hear. Ensuring the readiness and effectiveness of our forces is paramount. As we look ahead, we are fortunate to welcome the exceptional leadership of Major General Gainey, who is supported by his wife Sophie and their daughters Princess and Chanel. Roll Tide. Andy's experience as the Commanding General, 56th Artillery Command, as a Deputy Commanding General for the 3rd French Division are good stepping stones to this job, where cooperation with allies and partners is paramount. I was fortunate to oversee his change of command ceremony just last month in Wiesbaden. Under Major General Gainey's stewardship, the 56th Artillery Command emerged as the vital nexus, bridging the gaps within our formation and synchronizing fires and effects in all domains across the European theater. And I know you'll do the same thing in Africa. In fact, he's got a head start, sir. He knew he was getting this job here. So his next exercise, which John Rafferty, under his leadership, will benefit from, will be Arcane Thunder in Morocco, on the continent of Africa. Annie, I know you are ready for the challenges we face, and we look forward to facing them with you. I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the soldiers and civilians of SETAF-AF for their unwavering dedication and hard work. Your commitment to excellence fills me with immense pride. Keep pressing ahead with your outstanding efforts as you support 3 different combatant commands. And to everyone gathered here today, I want to express my sincere appreciation for your presence and your steadfast support of the United States Army Southern European Task Force Africa, United States Army Europe and Africa, United States Africom, the Italian Republic, and the United States of America. Grazie, buon proseguimento, Lions lead, stronger together. Go!
Ladies and gentlemen, Major General Todd R. Wasmund.
Signore e signori, il generale di divisione Todd R. Wasmund.
Those literally are some pretty big shoes to fill, so I'm going to lower this just a little. Yeah, maybe a little bit. General Langley and General Williams, thank you very much for taking time to be with us and to honor our soldiers and our families and our community. With your presence, your leadership matters every day, and it matters today very, very much to us, so thank you. Commissioner Major and Mrs. Inman, thanks for being here. It is important. Senor Profesor Takamo, Syndico Giacomo Posamai, and other leaders from our local authorities. We are so grateful to have you here. Grazie mille. Others distinguished guests, and I want to give a special welcome to all of the Gainey family. It was really nice to meet you finally this morning, and it's really important to all of us. I know it is to Andy and Sophie to be here, so thank you for making the trip. And to my family, Tracy present, but the rest of my family who will watch this have reported in the United States. So when they see this, hey guys, it's good to see you. Hey, buongiorno e benvenuti a tutti. Grazie mille. Sergeant Major Tickle, as always, the soldiers do look great, and I'm glad that everybody's rested in place. I know we've recognized all of you. It's hot, we know that. If you'll indulge us, I'm going to brag about you for a few minutes here. But thanks very much. And if I could ask everybody again to recognize the soldiers on the field, please give them a round of applause. We're always honored to have the Alpina Julia Band. Thank you for being here. Grazie mille. All of our supporting units, the gunners, the salute battery, and everyone who helped plan today's event, thank you very much for making this a special day and representing the very best of our history and our traditions and making this a special day for SETAF Africa. 2 summers ago, when I first arrived in Vicenza and had the opportunity to tour these grounds, what I saw right over there, the names etched at the base of the Lion of St. Mark, the Lion of San Marco, I saw the eternal flame. It became immediately clear to me that I was joining an incredible legacy. I knew that I was following in the footsteps of giants. Leaders present today, including General Williams, Command Sergeant Major Inman, and others who were part of a long line who kept that flame burning and provided a firm footing for today's leaders to move this command into the future. General Williams, SETAF Africa leaders, past and present, thank you for being here. Thank you for your distinctive contributions to this command. We are all honored by your presence. Since 1955, when we were formed as a Southern European Task Force, SETAF's mission has been defined by our unwavering commitment to defend the NATO alliance, anytime and anywhere. To all of the Italian military leaders present, our friends, thank you for being here. Grazie. Grazie per essere degli ospiti meravigliosi e dei fantastici aliati. To all of you who speak Italian, that was awful. But it comes from right here. Ours is a shared legacy. Our history is your history. Every American who has served in the Veneto knows that our mission is made possible by your support. We are forever grateful for your service to our common cause. Confidiamo in voi. In more recent times, our legacy has been defined by support to our partners in Africa and to U.S. Africa Command. Leaders like General Langley have provided the vision, and the U.S. Army provides forces and capabilities essential to achieving our strategic objectives. General Langley, thank you for your leadership. As we like to say around here, we are the Army command who wakes up every day thinking about Africa. We are proud to be part of the AFRICOM team, but we certainly don't do it alone. We do it alongside components from across the joint force who are aligned to AFRICOM, and many of those leaders are present here today. I'm not sure if Chief Man Major General Bob Soft Chief of the Marine Forces Europe and Africa was able to make it. I hope to see him, Major General Diane Del Rosso from the 79th Theater Sustainment Command, our former Deputy Commanding General, now Major General Brian Cashman, and Commander of Combined Joint Task Force, Horn of Africa. Brian, it's great to have you back. Brigadier General Tad Clark from the 31st Fighter Wing of Aviano Air Base. I'm sure I'm missing people. We're especially pleased to welcome a great ally in Brigadier General Philippe Segal, our Deputy Commanding General of the 3rd French Division, where General Gainey and I both had the privilege to serve in Marseille. Bonjour. 2 summers ago, this command was in the midst of a transition, completing the consolidation with our higher headquarters in the U.S. Army Europe and Africa, and truly becoming stronger together. There was some uncertainty, as there always is in periods of change. But there was one thing that I was sure of. Our transition from U.S. Army Africa to Southern European Task Force Africa didn't change the legacy of this command. And I wanted this organization to see what I saw when I looked at the impact of this community's work. So we captured that in a vision statement and core functions that encapsulate everything that this command does, everything this command has always done. We are in operational command with an expeditionary mindset, committed to trust and excellence in all that we do. We are a world-class team of soldiers, civilians, and Italian employees, and contractors who synchronize the activities of thousands of personnel operating across a continent 3.5 times the size of the United States. We leverage some of the best leaders and the best units represented by the soldiers on the field today, from the 173rd, the 207th, the 414th, the 509th, the 79th, 2nd SETAF-AF, Civil Affairs Battalion, our headquarters battalion, and others, to provide scalable crisis response options from the platoon level all the way up to a 2-star Joint Task Force headquarters, whenever and wherever needed. And we count on the very best garrison in the Army, with too many directorates, activities, and agencies to enumerate here to take care of our amazing Army community here in Italy. That community is represented here today. You are that community, and as every teammate here can tell you, over the past 2 years, we were tested across each one of our core functions. The entire command led task forces in Sudan, Niger, and in the Levant in order to safeguard American citizens and our shared interests. As a joint task force, or task force, activated to provide crisis response, we have been, as has been mentioned, activated now more than 440 continuous days. Our bags are still packed. Soldiers and civilians in the G357 man the current Operations Integration Center and the Joint Operations Center in support of daily operations and crisis response simultaneously. The G2 team spent countless hours synthesizing intelligence and keeping us all in the know. The G1 brought talent to the table. The G4 brought logistics. And the G6 gave us a communications architecture that we needed to get the job done across 3 combatant commands. At the same time, the G7, our Security Cooperation Directorate, and countless others from across the command continue to execute African Lion, AFRICOM's largest combined joint exercise, along with shared and Southern Accord and Justified Accord in Kenya. We continue to convene the African Land Forces Summit, ALFS, one of the largest gatherings of African Land Force commanders in the world, and the venue that has proved its strategic value time and time again. This year's ALFS featured the first address from an African head of state delivered live from our stage. Next year's host seeks the same commitment. Civil affairs teams led operations across more than 16 countries. 46 advisor teams from the 2nd Security Force Assistance Brigade deployed to more than 13 African countries. Our surgeon's office executed medical readiness exercises across 7 African countries and delivered life-saving medical treatments to thousands. And back here in Vicenza, U.S. Army Garrison, Italy provided the administrative support, and our G8 managed and deployed the resources that made all of it possible. Along the way, we faced challenges and we overcame setbacks, but we succeeded by trusting each other, by empowering each other, and by drawing on our values, character, excellence, trust, humility, and innovation. We succeeded because of our people. What I want to leave you with is this team's accomplishments over the past 2 years. Those belong to everyone here. Our legacy has always been built by the people in this community. The soldiers, the civilians, the Italian employees, host nation officials, friends, and neighbors who form the fabric of this thriving community. Everyone here is a part of that same fabric. And it's been the honor of my career to call myself a part of that Vicenza and Darby military community. Behind every member of this community, there stands a support network, and it comes in different forms. At work, it starts with your leadership team. I have to thank our Command Sergeant Major Reese Tickle for helping bring our vision and values to life across the command. Command Sergeant Major, thank you. And as I said at the dinner the other night, I will miss commanding with you. Colonel Chad Froelich, our Chief of Staff, thanks for helping us achieve great things by bringing together the resources and talent of this team, and for continuing the legacy of leaders before us, too many to name here. Colonel Scott Horrigan, you made my senior responsible officer job easy. This community owes you and all of your team a tremendous debt of gratitude for the countless hours and the unsung victories that have improved the lives of our soldiers, our civilians, and their families. All of our brigade teams, our battalion command teams, and our directorates, you represent the very best of teammates who bring SETAF-Africa trained and ready forces, ready to answer the nation's call. Unique to this position, and special shout out, I'm supported by a team of drivers and carabinieri escorts. We spend a lot of time together because I'm not allowed to drive myself. To that team, thanks for always being professional, but also becoming a part of our extended family. Thank you, and grazie mille. Some of the real sources of resilience for all of us come from closer to home. It's the friend or loved one we turn to at the end of the day for counsel and for solace. It's the people in our lives who keep the home fires burning. And for me, that's my wife, Tracy. My children and my grandchildren, my mom and all of our family, it's a big one. This is a journey that each of you make possible. Tracy, thank you for all that you've done for me, for our family, for our community, for our Army family. That vacation to Greece that we canceled last year, it's going to feel even sweeter this year. So today we close one chapter of SETAF-AF's legacy and open a new one to my friend, Major General Andy Gainey. Welcome to the SETAF-Africa family. And welcome to the Vicenza military community. This team is fortunate that you, Sophie, Princess, and Chanel, you're joining the fold. And I know that you will do great things here. That fabric of community that I talked about, the individuals who form this command's legacy, they are all here today and they're ready to support you. You're joining a proud legacy. A lineage of lions who will always answer the call. Whether in Europe or Africa, here in Italy, we all stand ready and we all stand behind you. It's my time to pass the torch. Now it's up to you to keep that flame burning. Lions lead, further together.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the Southern European Task Force Africa, Major General Andrew C. Gainey.
Signore e signori, General Andrew C. Gainey.
That is not a hard act to follow. General Avery, sir, thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. It means so much to travel all the way from Stuttgart to be here. To the Williams, sir, and thank you both for being here. It makes it even more special. And for Command Sergeant Major Williams, thank you so much for being here.
miss these bonds, but this is such a lovely place to be. Ladies and gentlemen from the Vicenza military community, our esteemed Italian hosts, partners and allies in attendance, that might be you, Philip. Distinguished guests, buongiorno. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for being here. On a special day for both me and my family, it makes it all so much more special. Words cannot express how humbled and honored I am to lead Southern European Task Force Africa, a long and storied formation in Italy, filled with a tremendous legacy of defending our NATO partners and allies for so many years. On a day like today, I'm thankful. I am thankful that there are so many people who have supported Team Gainey. So I'd like to recognize a few individuals. General Langdon, sir, thank you for your leadership and your support. You have given me and my family the utmost respect coming into this vote. Sophie and I are very excited to work with you and your incredible team in Africana. We are truly grateful for this awesome opportunity to continue to strengthen the stability and the capability of our African partners. But more importantly, I'm fired up joining your campaign of learning and understanding the challenge that lie ahead. Thank you. General Williams, sir, thank you for the opportunity to lead a command with such a distinguished legacy. To be entrusted with this responsibility and carry forward this vital mission, it's truly an honor and a privilege to follow in your footsteps. Here in the Veneto, the most beautiful region in Europe. Thank you, sir. And Sophie and I have learned so much from both you and Aaron over the past years, and we could not have asked to serve for a better command team once again. Thank you for all your mentorship. I am a better leader. I am a better man because of it. To my best friend, my lovely bride, my Molly picture, Sophie, and our two beautiful girls, Princess and Chanel, I could not do this without you. I'm not going to break up this time talking about you, but you just mean everything to me, all your love and all your support, all the sacrifices that you've made for me. You are my strength. I could not be here without you, and I love you all. To my family who traveled so many miles to be here today, my wonderful mother-in-law, Miss Gladys Kelly, my Uncle Clifford, who pinned me to the rank of second lieutenant 32 years ago, and his beautiful wife, Melinda. My oldest brother, my absolute role model, William, and his lovely wife, Lori. Thank you all for the tremendous support I've received from each and every one of you over a lifetime. I'm so blessed to have you here. And I also want to personally thank Todd and Tracy Wasmund. And before I even say anything, can we please give them a round of applause? Thank you for the support that you gave me and my family in this transition. It was absolutely first class. We'll continue to build under the successes of your leadership and wish you both well in your next chapter. We wish nothing but both happiness for both of you. Thank you so much for everything today. To the men and women of Southern European Task Force Africa, to Command Sergeant Major Tico, my battle buddy, the soldiers, civilians, contractors, family members, Italian employees that constitute the Vicenza military community, and to all our Italian hosts, thank you for the warm welcome you extended to me and my family. We are excited, we are fired up to be joining this thriving community. I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you to strengthen our partnerships, to advance our shared interests here in Europe, in Africa, and beyond. This is truly an honor. Lions lead, stronger together.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing and singing of the Army song.
In piedi per la canzone dell'esercito.
Sing a song, we're the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. Then it's high, high day, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. For wherever you go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
First day ceremony. Hey, Judge.
This concludes today's ceremony.